Yeah, welcome. Potent Podcast, Sunday, April 26th, 8 p.m. on the dot. Jay here with Trills. What's up, Trills? What's going on, bro?
Chilling, bro. What's up with you?
Same old shit, crazy weekend. Like we were just talking about NFL draft, what was going on, covering that, and that kind of took up all my time this weekend. Like I wasn't even able to jump onto that concert that you put me on to.
Right.
How was that actually?
I mean, I only kind of like skimmed through it because I didn't get to see it live.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually like more discussion more than anything else.
Okay. Oh, so it wasn't a performance.
There was some of that, but it was like it wasn't what I expected. I expected mostly performance, and it was like a lot of talking about coronavirus and everything. And
so it was obviously it was to raise money for that, but it was to spread awareness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of skimmed through it because, I mean, at this point, whatever week we in, I have heard so much about coronavirus that,
Well, luckily for me, I'm good. Now, I am all out of bleach in my house, but I'm good from coronavirus now. My insides kind of hurt a little bit, but, I guess that's just, it's taking its effect, so...
Hey, man, if it wiped the virus out, that's all that matters.
It's a light. Put the light in you. And is there a way that we can inject?
You need light in your body, fam?
If we can inject it. What, a vaccine you mean? You fall. My fucking God, bro. We're doomed. I swear to God, we're doomed.
Yo, bro, they've been putting don't ingest on bottles for how many decades, bro? And
there's a joke. Like, anytime that, like, anybody's upset about something, they're like, all right, I'm going to just go drink bleach now. Because you're trying to end it. I think it's really funny, too. Like, while we make jokes about that, like, it's really harmful to spread that sort of information because, reports are coming out of Maryland that, hundreds of people have been ingesting home products. Yeah. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and you want to think that people are smarter than that, but they're not, and that's scary.
They're not.
See, and I'll tell you this too, because all right, so it's getting to a point now where, like, obviously, the thing that I'm missing the most, obviously, other than going outside and stuff like that, is I haven't had a haircut in forever, and I get a cut a week. You're good, you're fine. You know what I mean? You have the beard, you probably just shape it up or whatever, and you got the dreads. You're fine. You don't need a barber.
The dreads don't look that great under the hat right now.
I mean, that's why you're wearing a hat, and that's why I'm wearing a hat. I think it looks fine from out here. If you didn't point that out, I would have been like, yo, this dude is still, like, with the same hair that he always has. I'm sure there's some upkeep that has to happen, but relatively, you're all right. My hair is crazy. I look like I got a bird's nest on my head, bro. But my barber reached out to me and was like, yo, because I had reached out to him in the beginning, I guess downplaying the severity of it, because I was like, oh, what's up? Like, I can come by get a cut or whatever. I'll come by your house or something. And he's like, nah, like, he was nervous. Then you start to think about it, and, he was right the entire time. So I guess times are getting a little bit more desperate. So he hits me up and he says, I do house calls. I'll come by your house. Yeah. I immediately jumped at it. I was like, oh, I agree. You know what I mean? And then, like, I started to sit and think, and I'm like, bro, I'm, like, out here clowning people for decisions that they're making, things like that. Like, I saw in the news a barber died because he was doing house calls from COVID. And it's just, I started to feel more and more uncomfortable. So I put it off, and I told him, I was like, look, yo, not today. As a matter of fact, he hit me up. He was like, I can't today. What about tomorrow? I was like, oh, perfect. Gives me a little bit more time to think about it. Yeah. At like 12 o'clock, right before I was supposed to like head out to the shop, I texted him. I was like, I can't, bro. Like, in all good conscience, I can't. That's not a smart decision. It's just not. And, it's not like I have anywhere to go. Not like I have anybody to impress. You know what I mean? So I could sit here and live with it. But I just wanted to give that perspective because there was a moment or two there where I was about to do something stupid, and irresponsible. Right. But, I got some advice about it, and then it made me think about it more, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think this is the move. I got too scared, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's better to be scared and safe than sorry, 100%.
Yeah, so when this all gets cleared up, you know what I mean? I'm going to get the freshest haircut I ever seen. I might get 3 that week. I might go Monday, I might go Wednesday, I might go Friday. I'm just going to keep going. Like, no, you don't need it. Yes, I do. I'm sitting in here, and we're doing this again.
Man, if we can't look trash around our family members, who can we look trash around?
Exactly. 100%. So, I see you got your drink. What's the concoction for today? Is it something similar to what you've been rocking or?
Yeah, it's kind of similar. I went with a pineapple gin with some OJ and pineapple seltzer on top of it.
Wow. See?
That's it.
Yo, always with something extra. I would just buy some shit out the can or just be like, all right, just drink that. I'm actually keeping it classy today. Like, I'm trying to, like, take it a little bit easy. So I'm drinking a glass of wine.
Okay.
I got my cardigan on. I'm trying to keep it classy today. So, like, for the people looking on YouTube, yeah, that's wine. I'm as shocked as you are. But, when you start running out of your favorite product, again, we're not plugging nothing, but your favorite product's not in the house, and I'm not paying for delivery again because, like, I'm paying through the nose for deliveries. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try this. Sip a little wine and a cardigan, keep it classy, make sure you swirl it. You know what I'm saying? And you be good.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
So thought about some wine too. I had thought about that, but
right.
It puts me I'm falling asleep right after a glass.
Yeah, the thing about it with wine that I noticed is that because the taste isn't like strong or anything like that, I tend to just neck it. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you like get into like a cup and a half and you're going through it like you're drinking a beer or something, whoa, you're headed down the wrong path. All right, so let's get into the crazy shit that's been happening this week because it seems like something crazy is happening every week, or not so crazy. I guess there was a lot of good discussions this week. Last week we talked about the BabyFace and Teddy Riley debacle on IG, but they did get it done. Was it on Sunday or what day was it? It was after we recorded.
Monday.
It was Monday, right? The day after we recorded.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Honestly, I loved it. It was so much fun. For as much as we clowned it, when they finally just got to the music and cut out everything, it was incredible. But I do want to ask you this because this is what I noticed in the beginning when we were setting it up. I'm getting ready to sit down. You know what I mean? I got my alcohol ready. I'm ready to watch. And Babyface is trying to explain to Teddy Riley how to pin a comment in the IG comments. And this is the classic example of, no, you know what? I won't even say the blind leading the blind. Because Babyface was actually like, yeah, you hold it down and it pins it. He goes, you got to tag Swiss and you got to tag Timbaland. I was like, oh shit. I was like, Babyface is 60, got it. Teddy Riley don't got it. That's not, tech is not his thing.
Yeah.
Whoa. He's
like spelling like people's name wrong and shit. He's like Timberland with ER. I'm like, bro. There's no ER in Timberland, man. Why you setting them up like this?
Oh my God. Yo, Teddy Riley's from VA too, man. How you don't know how to spell Timberland? Yeah. No, but yeah, I thought that was so funny, man. I was sitting there crying watching that, honestly. I was like, this is the small stuff that you don't really get. Like, you know what I mean? When you're like, thinking of people of that age and really like thinking about how like my father is in his 60s. He's pretty good with tech, man. I gotta say, you know what I'm saying? He got an Android that he knows how to use, which is a bit more involved than an iPhone. He could have took the iPhone and just used like the easy stuff on it, but the Android is a little bit more complicated. But he's good with it, man. I'm proud of him. But yeah, that was a beautiful.
That, man, my parents are not
terrible. Do they call you all the time? Like, do you get calls or texts or do they text?
Bro. Every single time I go over to visit, I'm at the point now, I'll just be like, what y'all need, yo? Every single time.
Pull up in a Comcast outfit.
Word.
Oh, man. No, I gotta say, I'm good with that. Like, so do your parents text at all or anything like that?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay, because I kind of find it, excuse me. I kind of find it a little weird that, in the beginning, I was in a group chat with my parents. And I'm like looking around like, wait a minute, what? Like, if you would have told me years ago that I would be in a group text with my parents, I would be like,
yeah.
Here we are. But anyway, back to Babyface and Teddy. So, again, I'm gonna nitpick with what I didn't like. I felt like some songs didn't go with other songs. Like I feel like when Teddy hit with the Blackstreet joint with Foxy, I was like, ooh, I was like, what does he have that goes? And then he went with something super slow. If I can remember what the song was.
I think he did Every Time I Close My Eyes, I think, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great song. Amazing song.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, man, Teddy was in Guy. I was like, I was like, Peace of Love got to be coming. Boom, the next song. I was like, I love this song. I was like, oh my God. But I think that I myself kind of not downplayed, I think I underestimated Babyface.
Right.
Like by the time he got to Can We Talk, I was like,
man.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
Wait a minute. Now, can I ask you a question? Because I saw the dialogue on Twitter, and I just want to get your perspective on this. Is Can We Talk about the guy from Us, Joe? Yo.
I mean, bro, if we really want to like dig into how that song was written, it is stalkerish, bro. But without a doubt.
I just think it's funny that people point stuff like that out because, like it wasn't in that intention. I think even Tevin Campbell, even in Tevin Campbell himself, kind of jumped in the tweets and was like, "Yeah, it's a little stalkerish or whatever." I thought that was pretty funny. You know what I mean? Like, that was good, honestly. But yeah, man, I just and when they started going through it, like, can I ask you a question? Like, all right, so I felt like, when he went to play City Is Mine. Teddy Riley, I was just uncertain as to if he's able to claim that as his song, right?
Right.
One, the hook is sampled.
Yep.
So you made the beat, that's cool. Hov wrote all the lyrics and everything. So when he played it, I kind of was like, oh, and then I was like, I started to think like, should this count? So like, what do you think? Like, does that count?
So. Again, we back to what criteria is, right?
I don't understand why they don't like lay these rules out. Like they seem to have a perfect system of like, money, time, this, that. Like what's up with like getting some ground rules down so we could see them too. You know what I mean?
Right,
like you can't just be pulling out like if I have one bar on a Jay-Z song and we're doing a battle and I pull it out, you know what I'm saying? Is that my song? Did I contribute anyway? Just because I was on it. I don't know.
But I mean, Teddy did production on The City Is Mine, right? So that qualifies. But I mean, we saw, I'm pretty sure somewhere in these battles, right? Somebody may have just like did a hook or something, right?
Right.
Like Lil Jon played stuff that he just did a hook on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, then I was like, why didn't Babyface hit back with Sunshine?
Right. See, there you go. Okay, now, all right, that brings up a really, really cool discussion because those are two songs on the same album.
Mm-hmm.
And, in my opinion, those are two songs that I really don't like on that album.
Well, that's the consensus about that album. Those are the songs that people don't prefer because they're a little too shiny suit-ish.
But when you hear Jay later on in his career say that he made a mistake, he cringes when he hears that song. Like that's pretty telling. He don't have to say shit like that at all. But
I wonder how much of that is because of what Jay has heard people say. Mm-hmm. Like if people would have been like, "Yo, these are like my favorite songs," and they had said that for 20 years, would Jay feel the same about the songs? I don't know.
That's true. I mean, commercially, when that song came out, it was a hit. Yeah. It charted very well. You know what I mean? You can understand, but I think
I like Sunshine. Sunshine's misstep is the video. That's the big misstep.
I think honestly that is the real reason why I feel like that. And it's funny because I've had a discussion with other people that videos can make me like your song more.
Yeah, 100%.
Like obviously, Missy already has shit, but if she puts the video out, then boom, you already like the song better. By the way. Yeah. I don't know what happened today. I was listening to music and Beat Me 911 came on, yo, and I was like punching the wall. I was like, oh my God. I was like, and that song just reminds me of the versatility of Timbaland. The bounces and everything, like, it's classic Timbaland, But like, it's just when you start to like analyze his career going across, you just see how versatile he is.
A monster.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting on track again though. So at the same time, like I don't even know. Like I think I'm done trying to figure out who won.
Especially with this one.
Yeah.
This one was like a demographic battle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes. And you know what I really liked? I like the stories. Like when BabyFace started telling the story about Mike asking them to date what was it, Halle Berry?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, Mike. I get it. When you start to hear that story, and then when you start to, BabyFace was super gracious. Like he said these words: "You are the king of New Jack Swing. You are the," you know what I mean? And that's all true. He doesn't have to say that. We all know that. But he was humble the entire time, calm, unfazed, cool as a cucumber, sipping on his whatever it was that he was sipping. Like the man's suit, he had a suit jacket on. I'm like, yo, look at this smooth dude, bro. And it was just a great night, honestly. Like I had a blast watching that. And then like all those songs, it made me feel bad because my mom, I haven't seen her in a while because of obviously what's going on. But I kind of got a little like a little hurt towards the end because my mom used to listen to BabyFace when she would clean the house. Even the TLC record that's on it that he played, it's just all these songs. My mom used to listen to Bobby Brown, you know what I mean? All that stuff or whatever. Like it made me sad, and I called her like right after. I was like, look, I know you don't know how to use Instagram. I was like, but something really cool happened. Like, and I was like, I'll show you, I'll send it to you. Like, I doubt she watched it, but yeah. I think it just solidified for me. And I think kind of taught myself where I hold those songs in my heart, and I didn't even know it until I heard them, again. So I had a blast, and yeah, I think I'm done calling winners on these things, man. We win. We've been winning. All of these battles, we've been winning.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, after all that, it actually came out very, very well.
Yeah.
They fixed it up. Even though there was some technical stuff again, Teddy Riley doesn't know what he's like, I'm playing it all day. Yo, get a speaker and put it near the phone.
And Teddy's phone died at the end, bro.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, and it's just crazy memes too, or whatever. What was it like? Somebody in the comments or whatever was like, "BabyFace louder than his music" or whatever. Oh my god, man, that's what I'm here for. All right, so some other crazy shit. Well, not crazy shit. I guess another discussion came up, right?
Yeah.
So, it was put out there, I guess, in an interview, right? Did Rocky do an interview?
Yeah, he did an interview.
Okay. And he said that he's the reason that people wear Air Forces. And of course, as the younger people do, because I didn't have this opinion off rip. Oh, right. Nelly.
Right.
Oh, hold up. We're from Jersey. We're up here.
Right.
We've been always, to this day. I have a fresh pair. They never go out of style. There was a little time where I was off them. I'm not gonna lie though. There was a time where I'm like, come on, man, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But then, classic shit never really goes away. You know what I mean? Right. And then, it's. So in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, man. We've been wearing these up here, and you can attest to that. Like, if you had a fresh pair of Air Force Ones, you was like floating. You know what I mean? Like, but then I heard Nelly. Nelly had another interview. I think it was on Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where he said that. He goes, I didn't say that I popularized the Air Force One. He goes, because that was a East Coast thing. So I was like, oh. Right. So he knows the history. But what he said that I really kind of didn't take into account until I heard him say was, he goes, but in Midwest, in down south, and in the West, he goes, then everybody started wearing Air Forces. He goes, that's the reason they jumped from $55 to $100.
Right.
I found that to be interesting. What do you think?
There is truth to that.
Yes.
Nelly did do that. That song definitely did that. Here's the thing, though. I think he kind of exaggerated how far
the reach is.
Stretched it. Because, even Charlamagne was like, well, man, I'm from South Carolina, and we were wearing them already, right? So I think some people and multiple hoods across America were already wearing them. But now if we talking internationally, Nelly might have done that. Mm-hmm. But I used to listen, let's say 2003, 2004, somewhere around that time, maybe 2002, I used to listen to UK rap a lot.
Okay.
And Dizzy Rascal's first single, he says that. He says, "Be serious, you wouldn't last an hour in my shoe," right? And then he goes, "It's an Air Force One." And that was before Nelly's single.
Okay.
So even in the UK, they were already wearing them. So, but I look at Dizzy Rascal, right? And I look at how much he studied hip hop. So he probably saw rappers ahead of him wearing it the same way Nelly did. Mm-hmm. Right? But there is validity to that. Nelly definitely did take it somewhere else. But I have to say, the Kardashians are the reason that Timberlands went up a couple $40. Or, I mean, fucking pair of Strucks is like
160, yeah, man. Shit's his J's now.
And that happened after Kardashians start walking around wearing Timbs. Mm-hmm. So you kind of like have to me, it's like, what are we giving credit to?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's interesting because I didn't know that either, and I didn't really think of it that way. I just feel like I think because of where we are, we've always felt like, you know, they were in, you know what I mean? Like you were just you know, everybody used to wear them, you know, like, and it's and there's a reason they're called uptowns. Right. You know, like that's part of that as well. So my thing is, and now we can backtrack a little bit because I feel like Nelly at least presented a good argument. I understand, you know, what you're saying. I didn't even think of that, you know, and I kind of take back a little bit more when I was saying because that was kind of what I thought in the beginning too. I'm like, wait, so really nobody was wearing Air Force Ones in America? Like, come on, like I don't know about that. But again, to your point, he did branch it out a lot more because he was like the hottest thing smoking at that time.
He definitely did.
But A$AP Rocky, now where do we stand on this A$AP Rocky claim that he's the reason? Because I'm gonna tell you like this: I love pretty much all their music, especially Rocky and especially Ferg. But again, like when we talk about Westside Gunn that Pray for Paris, they're luxurious Harlem rappers. You know what I mean? Yep. They, you know, Margellas, all that shit. They were wearing all that shit before. You know what I mean? Like everything. So I don't know if I agree, like, cause I wouldn't put two and two together with them and Air Force Ones. I don't know, like maybe on a humble type, but they always dress really, really fly, like really fresh.
Right.
I don't know.
I guess that's just us. I guess like this is how I see it. I don't think the hood sees it that way. I watched the interview that he did, and he said people were telling me that people would start doing stuff after they saw A$AP Rocky do it. And he was like, people told me like, yo, everybody's saying Trill now because you said it. And he's like, I wasn't sure if that was true. So I specifically said, I'm going to take this wax sneaker, which is the Air Force One.
That's what he said.
That's what he said out of his mouth. I'm going to take this wax sneaker and wear it to see if people will start wearing them again. And once they did, I stopped wearing them. That's what he said. Okay. I mean, so if he's saying, people said, yo, people are saying Trill now because you're saying it. Who is saying Trill now because A$AP's saying it? Like white girls?
Right.
Who is wearing Air Force Ones now because A$AP started to wear them again? White girls?
Okay. Good point.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering because we know Trill goes way further than A$AP Rocky.
That's a Houston thing.
Right.
Which is pretty much where he gets a lot of his style from. I mean, honestly, like, you know, he's heavily influenced from that area.
So, I mean, that begs the question is, what do we give props to? Do we give props to somebody taking it to the suburbs, or we give props to the hood who's been the tastemakers the entire time?
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the thing with our culture. It's always on the cutting edge of almost everything, you know,
Right.
and then people just take whatever it is that they like and infuse it with their own style. So that's definitely true, you know. We have style icons, you know, like all over it, you know. So you're not wrong about that at all. I just think it's a good discussion, and I think that what it showed me is, again, and we talk about this when it comes to people's opinions of music. It all depends on when you were born. You know, the younger people went right to Nelly. The older people, like us in our age group, were like, hold up, you know, we always, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't just forget us, you know what I mean? Like,
like, yo, do you remember Rockefeller? Like,
Rockefeller Air Force Ones, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I ever saw in videos. Like you know, like before Jay made, you know, the S dots, which were the Gucci's made over or whatever, basically. He was wearing Air Forces all the time. They all were. Like, that was like a staple. So yeah, exactly. You know, it's just, again, what is it? Revisionist history kind of, or just like forgetting kind of, like you have to do the history. You know what I mean? Like, before you start making claims. Nelly made the Air Force One what it was. Bruh.
It's a crazy argument, man. Like, I mean, is Snoop coming out and saying like what he did for Converses?
Right.
You know?
Right, that's what I mean. And I think that that's just their culture. You know what I mean? Like, weren't they always wearing Chucks? Like, that's their thing. Wasn't it like Chucks and Adidas and shit? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I just thought that was interesting, honestly. Like, it brought up a good conversation, and then you start to see, you know, the age difference kind of shows the way you view it. You know, not that they're wrong, right? Because, you know, in a way they're right because of how popular he made it. You know what I mean? But, you know, and again, it's a geographical thing. Like, where we live, you know, it's like that. You know, like we always had to be fresh up here, always, no matter where we went, anytime. If you went to school, whatever. When we get older, you always have to be fresh up here because everybody else gets like that.
Exactly. I mean, you learn super early how to clean sneakers, bro. You get your toothbrush, like you learn all of this when you're like 5.
Dude, I'm 35. And I still, you know, cleaning products, wipe my shit down, put them back in the box. You know what I mean? Don't let the laces come out looking like a poop putt. Like, all that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we know all of that. For you guys that weren't aware, that's a Paid in Full reference. Boom. I was like, that came out of nowhere. All right. So do we have like a verdict? Like, who won? Who really? Is it Nelly? Is it ASAP? Are we just who won? Is Nelly right, or was ASAP Rocky right?
I guess ASAP can probably take claim to bringing them back to a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. He can take claim to that. I think Nelly can take claim to bringing Air Force Ones to a bigger global audience.
Right.
And I think both of those guys need to give it to old Harlem and Rockefeller.
All right, so it sounds like you're being really, really, really diplomatic, so I'm just going to overrule this. And the answer is... No, you didn't. You didn't. You didn't. All right. So, all right, this one's going to kind of get me going a little bit. Like, I really have a strong opinion about what we're about to talk about right now. So, I don't know how this happened. You know, I can't really say that, you know, I follow the guy. I really know what's going on. Like, I listen to his music and everything, you know, time and place for everything, right? French Montana says somewhere that he has more hits than Kendrick Lamar. All right. So in my head, let me tell you how I processed this first. At first I said, well, it was brought up in my group chat and I looked at it and I said, okay, but what do we define as a hit? Are we just going to go by traditional standards, Billboard, things like that? Or are we going to talk about anthems in places? Because I've been in places where French songs ring off.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot of big songs like that.
Yep.
Then I start to think, like, wait a minute, what am I even trying to discuss with myself here? What are we even, like... So if you want to even keep it at that level, talking about anthems and things like that, I've been in places where... They don't even play the whole Kendrick record and everybody knows every single word. I've been to Kendrick Lamar concerts where the crowd knows every single word. Yeah. Just going off Billboard alone, let's just keep it there. Let's just keep my bias out of this, being that, you know, like, he's one of my favorites. Let's just go by Billboard. Number 1 hits, French Montana, 0. Kendrick Lamar, 2. Songs that have on the charts, I think it's like 17, 18. Kendrick Lamar, 48.
Yeah.
Not close. Not close. I don't want to hear this discussion. I don't like it. It bothers me. I like that you're confident in yourself. And what are you going to say? Yeah, I'm trash and he's better than me? No. But I wouldn't have said that.
Right.
I'll let you go ahead on this because it was just absurd. Like that was my thought process. I tried to be objective. I was just like, let me take a look. And then I was like, no. Like pretty quickly. Like, no. Yeah. Like, no. Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like the. I think the bravado of it is cool because I mean, you know, typical rap shit is that's how you're supposed to feel about yourself.
Of course.
But I mean, maybe I mean, it might be because I'm like, you know, still like local rapper status, right? Where I like just know where I stand, right? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's ways to be confident. That. There's ways to be confident without saying things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that like Cole would say that. Like, I mean, like it's...
He's not that type of person.
Yeah, but like what kind of person would say that like with like a full heart knowing that it's true? That's not like...
I think it's because...
I think... You know what I mean? Like...
I just think that people, because Kendrick's not in the limelight, Kendrick don't say nothing, Kendrick don't move, Kendrick just comes out whenever he comes out. You know, they feel like they could say stuff like that, you know, because they don't really fear. Like, I mean, we've seen Kendrick Lamar, like, eviscerate people, like, you know what I mean, pretty quickly. Like, but, I just feel like because he's a guy who is so introverted and somebody who's just all about nothing but the music, which is what everybody loves about it. Because I don't think he would have said that about J. Cole.
Yeah, I think you have a point. You might have a point.
Yeah, because
I think you do have a point.
I think he has a relationship with J. Cole too, right? Because they've been on songs together, right? They were on that Diamonds record. So like I'm sure they have a relationship, but I feel like he wouldn't say that about him. Definitely wouldn't say that about. I mean, he definitely has no case to say that he has more songs than Drake, but he definitely wouldn't say that about him just off of stature. That's not because he's scared of him. Right. And then like you start to look at like some of the songs that he's charted with, and they're all features.
Yeah.
And they're all someone else's song.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just but here to be fair also, I heard the whole quote. He said not to say that I'm a better artist than him because I think we all know that that's not true. Boom. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I was like, you got that one like right there. Like you nailed that one. It's good to be self-aware, but then to say that, you know, if they were to do a hits thing that it would be, you know, did he do a battle with Tory?
He did.
I didn't watch that.
I missed that one too.
Shows how much we cared. I mean,
I don't know, man. That's crazy, man. I mean, did he mean hits when he said it, or did he mean like just joints that ring off? Like
that's what I mean. Like those clubs, like you could play Pop That again. It has Rick Ross and Drake, and everybody knows probably Rick Ross and Drake's verse better. You know, right. You know all these songs. It's like you did. You know, he probably wanted to use All the Way Up. That's Fat Joe's record, bro. You know, like all those songs that go off, he's on them. You know, he has his own songs. Like he might want to play Chop It Down. You know, that'll really tap into like the deep, you know, hood shit. But I just
he could play the Unforgettable joint.
That's not his song. That's not his song. He bought that from Sway Lee. That's not his song. And nobody remembers him for that.
Probably what he's thinking.
Nobody remembers him on that record. Nobody. I'm sorry. I you know what? Now I'm taking a hard stance and I might sound biased, but I'm sorry. Nobody remembers him on there. That's Sway Lee record, bro.
Yeah, Sway Lee ate that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he was like, "Yo, you using this?" He's like, "I'll buy it off you." Like, you know, like, yeah, you know, he did it the right way. But yeah.
But I think that was his thought process. I think his thought process was. And I think that kind of gets confusing and muddled too. Like when you live in the place where they play.
Thank you. And now you took the words out of my mouth. Keep going.
Yeah, I think he's like, yo, these joints ring off in New York, which they do. But And he's like, I don't hear that much Kendrick ringing off, so that's probably where it got muddled to him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think people are paying attention to who is in the room when these IG battles go up. Like, the demo is different.
Right.
The demo ain't the same demo as the people that's in the club with you or in your crib. Like somebody I saw, I'm pretty sure you probably saw it too, where they was like, all right, let's line this up, Drake versus Hove. And I was like, have y'all seen the people that come into the IG lives? Like,
it's not your people.
Drake is a monster, but the demographic is probably going to lean to Hove. Like, you got old heads that y'all call them in the IG lives, fam.
Yep, I mean the BabyFace and Teddy Riley one was doing like 350 bands, 400 bands, like people like that. That's not a joke, man. Like there was.
And what's funny about that is that the count is like on one live, like on the others the numbers are different because apparently like it caps at like 500K or something like that.
Right, they can't do no more.
So apparently it was like 3 million people.
The weird part too is that like I noticed on everybody I forget what battle it was that we were watching, but it never cut off. Like the hour limit stopped coming on, and I feel like they had it the entire time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like that's weird. Like I've watched other ones where like they've lifted that for the battle and that's fine, but then that one, of course, it was like, oh boy, he's like I'm gonna start it back up. It's just funny to hit it. All right, but yeah, you're right, man. Like I guess we could just put a wrap on it because I think we know like where we stand on that, But French Montana.
That's stupid. Use your common.
All right, yeah, I'm trying to add sounds into it or whatever. Like we're gonna make it work.
Kelly shit get me every time.
I know. I swear to God, it does. Like that interview is classic. I'm caught, and I'm gonna just act crazy to just see if y'all like take it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the wrinkle that we left out of this too is that so Young Thug gets involved in this. Now that, my friend, is a much better and bigger. No, it's more interesting, honestly. Not based on music because it's something else that I found out. So I forget where French did an interview, and he talked about what really is the issue between him and Young Thug. And it really has nothing to do with music. Basically, he said that there was some situation. I believe he said it was a video shoot. Don't quote me 100%.
Yeah.
That he was at. That Young Thug's fiance was at.
Okay.
And apparently, Young Thug's fiance tells Young Thug, French hit on me. And French was like, look, we drunk. Everybody was like chilling. He goes, if I remember doing that, I would have not done it. He said. He goes, but if I did do it, I'm sorry. He told him. He said he called him and he said, I'm sorry. This is what I was drunk or whatever. Which I didn't really buy that excuse because then it's like, okay, you just got a built-in excuse to act like a crazy person. Like you gonna hit on my fiance, like you know what I mean. Anyway, whatever. That's between them. That's up to him if he wants to take that or whatever. Me, I would have just never played him close probably ever again. Which sounds like what happens after this. So apparently he says that he runs into Young Thug at a club or something like that, and he dabs him up and everything's fine. When he was starting to get into why it's really that Young Thug that jumped in it, because Young Thug jumped in immediately when he started saying Kendrick Lamar or whatever. Like, he was, like, laughing, like, on the internet or whatever, like, on IG or whatever. He says that he's still mad about that. And that's really the root of it, that it's more. And he said that he felt like everything he was saying over the days when they were going back and forth was all pent up. And he's been wanting to say that.
Yeah.
That was an interesting layer to that one. I was like, wow. I was like, that was crazy. But then, like, other people started getting into it. Like, somebody was trying to say, like, they wanted to go with Thug. And I'm just like, look, let's just, like, figure out one thing at a time or whatever. But musically, I feel like that's a lot more interesting discussion. I don't know if you feel the same way that I do.
No, I mean, yeah, that would be more surprising, right? Mm-hmm. For them to play their songs. Because I think most people are pretty aware of the songs Kendrick will bring to the table, and it's kind of like already drawn out and laid out how that goes. Mm-hmm. I think throwing Thug in one of these is like really interesting because I don't know how many people know how much dope he actually has.
And he actually has a number one hit. Did you know Unforgettable didn't go number one? That song's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. Like, that's crazy. That's his biggest hit, and it never went number one. Like, it's...
that's pretty odd.
Right. And then, Young Thug, I think, even has one, but again, features. What's the criteria? What's allowed, what's not? And I find that battle much more interesting. As a fan of Young Thug, I'm leaning Young Thug's side because I know that Young Thug has a lot of shit. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But it would just be more interesting to see. I think that's a much more even battle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at 40 minutes. Okay. So new music this week, kinda, right? We didn't really get too much, right? Like I thought I saw Kali Uchis drop something. Wasn't certain if it was anybody else really that I could think of.
I know. I saw that DZA actually dropped, and I kind of want to get around to that.
I do too. Oh, perfect. Thank you for saying that. This is the last thing we're gonna talk about. Yeah, we were gonna talk about Mobb Deep, The Infamous. It's the 25th anniversary, one of my favorite albums. We're gonna hold that for next episode because we're gonna do a Chronic review, retro review. So we'll do that for the next one as well too. But I'm glad that you brought up DZA because now we're really gonna get into a good conversation. Because remember I sent you an IG post of Little C's on an IG live when he was asked a certain question.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I was definitely going to let that fall by the wayside and I really had something to say about it because I was intrigued. So DZA is on with Lil C's. He's talking to him and they start getting on the conversation of Big and Jay. And Lil C's says out of his mouth that Biggie told him that he thought Jay-Z was better than him. And his words, he's nice, bro. And you know what's crazy about it, man? Is again, supreme confidence, all that stuff that we talked about. One, I believed it. I mean, Little Caesar's gonna say some bullshit right now, especially because of how near and dear he holds B.I.G.'s legacy or whatever to him. I thought it was interesting that somebody who at the top of the game could be that humble and even recognize that something and even tell something that would make someone else uncomfortable to even say as far as ego goes to one of his best friends.
Yeah.
I really, really found that interesting, man. And I believe it.
Man.
And I believe it.
Oh, yeah. I 100% believe it. As cool as the two of them were, and as much as they have worked with each other for that short period of time, the rooms they were in together and both of them just watching each other, like, go over lyrics in their head and shit, I'm pretty sure Big was like, yo, what the
how are you coming up with this? If you're really rapping this shit off the top of your head, and then that's always the nod that I give to people. Although I will say this, I doubt anybody at this time period is writing raps. Doesn't sound like many are.
Right.
Especially, the younger guys. But anyway, but you're absolutely right. So like watch it like if you just sit around, like he sits in the corner, right? And he mumbles real quick, boom, boom, boom to himself, and he's like, all right, let's do it. And then
but apparently like both of them did the same thing. And I'm sure, like, when Big saw him doing that, he probably was like, yo, like, I thought I was the only one out here like this. Like, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you listen to, let's take two songs that they did while both of them were alive, right? If you listen to Brooklyn's Finest, Hov ain't getting washed. No. They're going, I never call winners on those. Those are two guys at the top of their game having fun and at their hungriest, and that's the best part about it, really, man. Because when everybody first breaks in, that's when they're the hungriest. You know what I mean? They on their shit. They, like even to this day, if you want to go back and listen to Reasonable Doubt raps, you're gonna come out with other shit. You know what I mean? That album came out in '95. But like that was them. Like that's like prime right there. That's their prime. You know what I'm saying? Like the pregame was the streets and rapping and everything out there. And like this is game time. And these are the two of the best. And they're at their best. And you're absolutely right about that. Like even the records on Life After Death. Like never once did I ever hear a song between the two of them and I'm like, yo, like he just got washed out. You know what I mean? Like nah. So I mean they were always on the same tier. Yeah. And I mean, bro, look, man, I rap. When you were rapping,
yes,
I've been in rooms with just your people. You know what I'm saying? Just me, the odd man in the room with your homies and shit. And I've literally said to them, like, yo, this nigga's dead nice. So I could completely see Big saying that.
Well, you know, I always said the same thing about you, and I think that is kind of the mindset that I've always had, and I think you have the same one as well. Me giving you credit does not diminish me in any way.
Right.
Me recognizing that you're dope, and me like you know, like I get excited. You know, that was part of the creative process. I feel like was so fun when we were out there, you know, at the same studio the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. It's just all the vibes and everything. Like, you know, I'm around someone who I'm looking to and is doing things that I want to do, and I'm like, you know, and like it's again, I can give you credit and in no way discredit myself.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that it's a lot of respect that, you know, that goes both ways, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, and you know that.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna do an episode where we run through your shit and what's like my favorite songs and shit like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right about that, honestly. You know, like two guys very confident, guys who are clearly friends. You know, like that's a competition thing, but it's friendly and it's always to better the other person. If you're not in a space, you know, creatively in a room with people that want you to do better or are pushing you to do better or are letting you just do whatever it is that you're doing and just sitting there like, yeah, that's straight, then you know, like you might as well just record by yourself. You know, you're probably going to come up with some shit that you never thought you would because you don't hear nothing from nobody. That's a whole other discussion. But I thought that was super interesting, honestly, and I was kind of blown away by that.
Yeah, that was a nice piece of information, man.
Very much so. Like, and that's what I think too is really cool about this. Like, even though, like you said, like I love that tweet that you put out. I shouldn't open my fucking IG and have 35 fucking lives on the top. Like, look, yo, if you want to go do an IG battle, you know, you want to do a big interview, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? That's your platform. Bro, I got my people with like fucking 110 followers that are on live and are like, you know what I'm saying? You accidentally click on that shit and you're the only one in there.
Bruh.
I can't do it, yo. Like, even us. Like, if I wanted to do this pod, we had better make sure that we can do numbers because I'll be damned if we go on IG Live and do that shit for 8 people.
Yo, I'm not doing that.
No,
shit.
at all. That's more embarrassing.
Bro.
Fuck that. We got to build this up, man. I'm not about to just be like, yo, we about to be on live. Fucking, my parents will be on that shit on their IG. Oh man. So
my mom's like, you never made me one of those drinks. Can you make me one of those? Like, what?
Where you learn that from? Yo, so I think it was last week, right? Was it last week that the Chronic turned 25 or what is it? 20, like, you know, like something like that?
Chronic came out in 92.
Right, I thought it was 92. I want to say 93, but let me just double check. But yeah, but something like that. It was an anniversary.
Right.
So in 92, good eye. Right at the end of 92, December 15th.
Yeah.
It got re-released. Like, so, but I think you have another platform. I'm not gonna say the one. You have another platform that it's always been on, right?
No.
No.
The original Chronic has not been anywhere, and that killed me, bro, for a lot of years.
But it dropped on all streaming platforms, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys already know what I have. Mine came with the master quality. Mm-hmm. So I was able to go back and listen because listen, everybody knows, you know, anybody who does the history knows that this is a landmark album. This is an album that when I used to listen to it, I used to listen to it really loud with my parents. My mom would ask me, "Hey, do you want to?" You know, like when it would be like she would be in a good mood, you know, because they would always dominate with the music. Which at the time I complained about. When you start looking back, you're like, "Yo, my parents listen to nothing but slaps." You know what I mean? Like, but I used to listen to that with them. You know, like my mom would make dinner. She's like, "Dad, put it on." She's like, "I don't really like all the curses, you know, because they talk about this and that. You know what I mean? They talk about sucking. Like everything's about like getting head and shit." And I'm like, "Bro, like let's get on another topic, bro." Like, but my mom and my dad, and that goes to show you kind of the reach that this album had, even when it came out, just because of all the sounds infused. With I think I think this is kind of the part that I am starting to realize now because when you listen to the skits, I wasn't as aware when I was a kid. Like socially, what this album is built around and what's going on in California, the riots and things like that, Rodney King and all that stuff, the energy behind this is so Like, it's smooth, but it's Black Planet, like, Public Enemy type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I feel like I got that this time when I listened to it. You know, like, all that raw energy, all that anger, all that stuff, all that's in there. You know, in the skits right before the songs, you hear people talking. Like, I got all these things now. I'll be honest with you, I haven't listened to The Chronic in about 5-7 years.
Okay.
I remember it perfectly. I understand it. I was playing it today while I was taking a shower. I know a lot of words to it.
Yeah.
The hell yeah rings off really good in the shower. Hell yeah. But I started to listen to it in that way where I was just like, oh my God, like the things that are being spoke about, you know, are very pro-Black. Very just, you know, like, you know, and it's all those things. It's like Raw Snoop, G-Funk, Dr. Dre on Death Row. Like, at that point, they're running the game. You know, like, it's an all-star team, you know. But yeah, I talked enough. Like, you give me some of the stuff that you got too off of it.
I mean, you pretty much said it, man. I mean, there are few people, right, that make albums that sound like films, bro. Like, and Dre has done it with all his albums, even Compton, which people didn't like hold on Pride Rock, but that even sounds like a film.
Yeah.
But to be able to like issue in a new subgenre in rap, right, and at the same time give us like 5 or 6 new rappers that we had never heard of.
Right.
And bring the generation before you into the fold with their music.
Right.
And still manage to be political and tell us the climate that you were living in at the time. Mm-hmm. And for it to still be dope and not preachy. Right.
And also something that kickstarts the weed culture in hip hop, which it was there.
Yes.
It was there. Cypress Hill's been doing it, you know, from the same place or whatever. They were doing it for years. They were, but I feel like because of how big this was, it kind of really gave it that kickstart that it really like got it going.
100%.
I mean,
and it's such an intentional album, bro. Because like there's even some reggae sprinkled in just to like tie it together.
Yeah.
The shit's mind blowing, bro. And I mean, we kind of forget, because I thought about this too when I like re-listened, because I had to re-listen because of the new drop on the platforms.
Right.
Again, we've been on this. Like, we talked about how people were like tight about J-Elect and Hove together, and then we talked about Ghost and Ray together.
This is a perfect example.
And here we go again, right, with Snoop and Dre.
And Prime Snoop also. I also want to make sure we talk about that too, because when you know, and the album starts it's so disrespectful, the Eazy-E joint. Like now looking back in hindsight, like that was your boy and you did all that. And the other thing about you that I really, really want to piggyback off of, because it made it click in my head, visual, right? So I'm hearing all these songs and I'm seeing the videos for them. I'm seeing the barbecue. I'm seeing the guy pull the girl's top off and have her chase him. I see the little boy next to the 6'4" or whatever, like stopping right on time. Like I see all these things, and then I like it's again like before this I would have told you this is a landmark album. Mm-hmm. I feel a little bit different about this album now when I listen to it again, you know, through this lens that I have now at 35. That it could be argued that it was a top 5. I think that now it's hard not to argue it at this point.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, let's talk about how, bro, we in 2020 and you hear some of these songs and you hear the skits in them and you're like, yo, people still saying the same shit.
These nuts.
Like, bro, the these nuts joke. Like,
yup.
It arrives on this album.
Right. I just like how she was like, boy, fuck you. Or whatever. She was mad. I was very, very surprised again when I was listening to this. Almost like I had gotten it for the first time, and that's just the beauty. That's just the beauty of hip hop, man. That really is, man. Like that an album from 1992 can still make me feel like the shit is still brand new. I really look at this album very differently now. Anybody that's listening, I encourage you to definitely go back and listen because it's exactly true. Like, there's just the levels to this album. Let Me Ride, Gin and Juice, Nothing But a G Thing. You know those records, right? Little Ghetto Boy, With a Gun. Like oh my god, that's like the hardest record on there, yo. Like I was listening to that shit, I turned the speaker all the way up. I thought I thought the neighbors were gonna start banging on my door.
The production is
incredible.
Is immaculate.
Yes,
bro.
yes. In '92. Remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that people.
Bro, it's 92 and I'm jealous of these beats.
Right. And in '92, they don't have the technological advances that a lot of these guys do, which goes to show you that talent transcends any sort of technology or any help that you have.
Oh yeah.
One way or another, you're gonna get it done.
Yo, I listened to this album so many times, and the last time I listened to it a couple days ago, I was like, yo, he really had the balls to open the album up with one of the best diss tracks ever. Like, you opened the album up with that.
I know every single word to that song. I had no idea. I was in the shower, yo. I was going in. It was amazing, man. And that's the other thing, too. When we start to talk about these timeless records, I can hear the words as soon as you say the name of the song.
Yeah.
I already hear how it starts. And then you get right into it. It's just stuff that's going to stick with you, man. Like,
as soon as Dre Day starts, bro, I immediately saw the fake Eazy-E running through Compton, bro.
Yo, and they did this Luke on there. Like, they're just, like, so disrespectful, man. And then, like, you start to see some of the documentaries later and the footage coming out. They're like, we're up to the part where we want to kill Eazy-E. Do you want to shoot him with the shotgun or the AK? And Dr. Dre's like, yeah, get the AK. I'm like, yo, you guys really didn't give a fuck at that point at all.
Nah, they did, bro.
They were really not feeling each other at that point.
Yo, that's AJ Johnson from Friday,
yes.
Right? That plays Sleepy.
He's out. Which also turned 25, which is crazy too. I think that also just turned 25.
Oh, yeah,
Friday.
Yeah.
Yo, and that's like, I guess if we have a few minutes in a little bit, we can talk about that because that's another thing that kind of drew me to that culture too, which also really helps. But go ahead, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's crazy, like, bro, like, played Eazy-E in that video, and apparently, like, him and Eazy were actually cool with each other, so Eazy called him. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, I see you did the video. That's cool. Get your money. You know what I mean? He's like, but now you gotta be Sleazy E in my video.
Okay.
So that's the video for Real Compton City G's where Eazy runs into the fake Eazy.
Uh-huh. I didn't know that.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Like, they had shot his part, and Suge found out about it. And went and got AJ and brought him to the office and pulled the joint out on him like, yo.
You're not doing this in response.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So, like, half of that video is actually him because they kept his footage, but he couldn't go back to finish the video. He got another comedian to do it for him.
I had no idea. You just dropped a gem on me. I had no idea about that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, you kind of get a taste of it when you see Straight Outta Compton, but I'm sure that there's all that other shit, that little shit like that's like a gem, like that nobody knows. Wow. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but from here, it look like you taking the shit. But yeah, we could put a bow on it. Like, honestly, man, like, I again, old head rant, whatever. Like, timeless music, man, and that's really what I got from it when I listened to it again. I'm still just super impressed, still blown away, still feeling the same feelings that I had when I first heard them. Just understanding how hard it is to be able to do all those things that you said, infusing all of those styles and influences, and being able to do it so seamlessly it's a marvel. Honestly, it's really hard to duplicate, and it's just moments, man. Like, when shit just comes together and it lines up, like, that's the type of shit you get.
People are still chasing the Chronic. People are still trying to make their version of the Chronic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, You hit it on the head with that one. I mean, but also too, like we kind of just talked about it. So Friday turned 25 in the same span. I think it was like last week or something like that. If I and again, this is West Coast culture. That movie is West Coast culture. You know, like those movies that I remember from that time that we used to watch. Obviously, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Friday, and then Don't Be a Menace when that came out. You know, like that's something that probably still gets watched here and there. But Friday was one of those ones that, like, again, it's so weird to say, but my parents watched that shit before me. Like, and this is how long ago this was, because I'm about to date myself. I was asleep, and they ordered it on pay-per-view on you know that was a big deal back in the day on cable if you had it. You know what I mean? Like that was like, but yeah, like, and I just remember them in the morning, you know, like quoting it, "Don't you ever," and I was just like, "What the hell are you guys talking about? Like, what's wrong with you guys?" And then finally, I got to see it, and I was like, "Oh my god, man!" Like, I just get it. Like that movie just works still to this day. It's still one of the funniest movies of all time.
A fact.
But West Coast culture, man, that's where I was starting to get it from. Like, you know, The Chronic, all those movies. You know, obviously, you know, I have to be honest. I wasn't an NWA guy. Like, I never really listened to them. Like, not that I had anything against them. It's just like that kind of, I don't know, for whatever reason, that kind of slipped past me. Like the NWA, Ice Cube music, you know what I mean? Like, everybody knows Today Was a Good Day and stuff like that. But I mean, like, all the other stuff. Like, I found.
I mean, for me, it was age. Like, this is the thing about rap, though. It's like, rap can be, like, really good, right? And if you're at a certain age, it has to have, like, a certain sound. It has to have, like, visuals and everything that pulls you into it. And I was small enough to have to be pulled into things visually, or it be, like, sing-songy or whatever. And NWA and even Cube at the time was like a little too hard-edged for a kid.
They were just rapping.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I had to go back and discover it. Mm-hmm. But Dre knew what to do. He knew how to make us sing, bro, and how to give us that bop. And it didn't hurt that, like, your parents liked it.
Yeah,
you know
that definitely helped.
I remember being super small and my mom being like, "You can't listen to this music because of how it sounds and what they say." But she loves Snoop Dogg. Yeah, and that kind of like changed everything.
See, I think I don't want to cut you off though, but I think that's important what you said, because I think people underestimate how much of a star Snoop is. Oh yeah. Even still to this day, but you know, but your mom knows, and that's telling. That right there is telling, you know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just I remember that specifically. I remember being super small and being like confused, like you were telling me not to listen to this, and like I know for a fact because I heard my brother playing The Chronic that like Bitches Ain't Shit is on his album, and like, but she liked the funk sounds, and she liked the way Snoop rapped.
Snoop walked all over the fucking Chronic. Let's just keep it a bean. He walked all over that shit. He's floating all over all of them shits. Like, I can hear it now. I can hear Bitches Ain't Shit. Like, I can hear that playing in my. That's a top 5 beat. Yeah. Like that. That's like it hits immediately and you get it. But yeah, like it's just like. You have all these things come together, and that's what I'm saying. Like, an album birthed a whole sound, an album birthed a whole subgenre, like you said, and gave us Snoop. And Snoop went right in after that, and he put out Doggy Style, and then like there's that time in Death Row's period where they're dominating. They're dominating.
And all of that they laid down ends up giving us Friday, and it just keeps opening up what a whole nother world, which is culture. Literally just across the country looks like and feels like. And I mean, you gotta thank The Chronic for that.
Yo, we're at a minute, we're at an hour 5, but I think, you know, we said it all basically on it. You know, if you guys get a chance, please listen to it again. Send us your thoughts and stuff like that on Twitter, whether you agree with what we're saying and stuff like that or not. But I want to go back to something that you said, because you said that your mom said that you can't listen to it because of the subject matter. So was that the first album that you got like that was like banned, or was it others?
That's the first album I can remember my mom ever saying that.
Okay.
And I think because before that, really what I heard most of the time around the house was Public Enemy, which was, my parents could throw their fist in the air to that, so that was fine. And it was LL, which was just about partying and girls, so that was fine. Mm-hmm. But before that, there was really nothing else in the house that was like, nah, this is too hard.
All right, so I remember when it was mine. Because like I said, I used to listen to that with my mom, you know what I mean? Like my mom let it fly, whatever, because she liked it too. My dad let it fly because he liked it too, right? And my dad used to listen to Public Enemy too and everything as well. I remember he had the Fear of Black Planet tape. Like, and that shit just boggles my mind when you start to think about how far back that is.
Yeah.
So the first time that I was ever banned from listening to an album was Ghostface Killer's Iron Man. Can you think of the specific lyric that really got it banned, or because it's the beginning of one of the songs, on there. It's pretty vulgar, but I remember my mom hearing it, and if you can't remember whatever, I'll just say it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
All right, when my mom heard it for the first time, I have never heard her bust in a room fast enough to smack my CD player open and grab it out of the boombox and take that shit and just like hide it. Thank God for tapes at that time, because remember, we didn't have portable CDs at that time. Yeah. God damn, that's a long time ago. Holy shit. All right. So the lyric, a song about it. As soon as I start saying it, you're going to start dying. Yo, bitch, I fucked your friend. Yeah, you stay cold. I was like, oh my, I was listening to it like on the highest level possible. My mom bust in the room, took the gray CD out with the W on it, and she was like, you're not listening to this anymore. I was like, oh, Mom. What the? You definitely took the CD and hid it from me.
You was blasting that with your moms in the house?
Bro, I thought it was okay. I had gotten through. Remember, that's the 5th song on Iron Man. I ran through 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in the clear. You know what I mean? And the thing is the worst part is, God, is this 6th grade, 7th grade? One of those that I'm in at this point. A girl gave it to me. Like, that I was liking or whatever, like, she let me borrow it, and I was fronting on her because I kept telling her, I got the Blackstreet album, I'm about to lend it to you. I ain't had that shit. I kept delaying it, like, oh, I forgot, my mom said I can't take CDs out the crib. So she lent it to me, and I had it, and it was her CD. And she's like, do you have my Iron Man? I'm like, oh yeah, like I forgot. Like I had to keep fronting for a long time. Finally, I got my hands on it to bring it back to her or whatever. But like just a crazy. Like I'm just glad that you brought that up, because I forgot that memory right there of like, because it's true. Like and then I got mad at Ghostface. Like, why you had to start the song like that with your ignorant ass? Like, what was that, bro? What was that?
Yeah, man, we were in a time, bro, where like you listen to like rap and like your moms was like. And I mean, we from the hood, and we done heard everything. Mm-hmm. But your moms was still like, nah, you whack. You cannot be playing this.
Oh my God, I love hip hop, bro. I swear, things like that. That's what it's all about right there. That's what it's all about. Memories like that. I mean, I had the shit on tape. It don't matter. I was about to listen to that shit walking to school anyway or whatever, But. All right, I guess we can cap it at 110. I knew we were gonna get into some good discussions, so I guess next week what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll look at Mobb Deep, the Infamous, all depending on the music releases next week. Because you never know. Next Friday could be a big launch day since we're recording every Sunday. It looks like so. Friday's the day usually when everything drops. Oh, you know what song came out? Did you hear the Scott and the Travis and Cudi?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
It's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what I said too. And I gotta say, I'm not really that much of a fan of Kid Cudi. I love Travis Scott, but his style's not for me. Like when people say that Man on the Moon is like a classic, I need someone to like sit and explain it to me like a 5-year-old. Like make me understand it. I mean, it's not a bad album, but like
it's I think it's a good album.
I'm just not in like the moody stuff, like all that stuff. Like that doesn't connect with me. You know what I'm saying? Like the deep talking. Like I don't know.
I like that music, but I like it in a different format.
Okay.
Like, I like it, like, if I'm listening to rock, I like it.
Right.
But I don't really like it in my hip-hop that much.
Right. What gets me tight is that Cudi like teases you. Like he'll get on regular records and then he'll be like, "Yo, like you rap like that, you're good, man." Like like it always got to be. But that's what his fans love him for, and that's why those people hold that. Like again, you can't really judge how people see things through their lens and what connects with them, because if he's talking about shit that they're dealing with internally, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's gonna hit harder than if I'm not dealing with that. I'm just be like, "Yo, you alright, yo?" Like I know you're talking to me, but like you need someone to talk to or something, like. But yeah, I actually
man, I like super gangster rap, man, and I've been in the cars with girls, and they be like, "Yo, what the like? I don't sell dope. Can you turn this shit up?" So I mean,
you better learn to sell dope. Don't tell me. First of all, if you ain't giving me no gas money, don't tell me what to play in my car, girl.
Where
man, that would get me mad. I'll be like, "Hey, man, you want to drive? If you want to drive, then then you got it. Put what you want." Nah, I would never do that. You gotta be respectful. I'm never brave enough to be like, "Hey, yo, shut up." All right, so we're at hour 10. So, I want to say before we close this out, we've gotten a lot of people, responding to the podcast very well with, comments, the screenshots that you guys send of you listening to it, letting us know what you thought about it, because I've had discussions with people text me, people send, DMs on Instagram, on Twitter and things like that, and give me thoughts on what we're talking about. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys a lot. As we're starting this out, obviously it's going to take a little while to build a following, but we have to stay consistent. But that really helps us keep going, honestly, when we see things like that. So, however you've been listening, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, thank you, and we really appreciate it. It's a humbling feeling.
100%, man. It's dope.
Yeah. So, Trills, tell them what's up, man. When so May 5th, right? That's when the album's dropping.
May 5th is still coming, man. Trill Dollar will be here.
May 5th. Where's my gift at, yo?
Yo, man, you should be receiving that soon.
Yeah, I better. I'm gonna start assaulting the mailman. I mean, with gloves and a mask on, you know what I mean, for sure, or whatever. But like, hey, yo, man, where my shit at? Yeah. So let them know where else to follow you. Just to, for the people that are probably tuning in for the first time.
Trilly Trills on everything. S no Z, please.
S no Z, please. God. Again, you know what I found that we got a good response to actually before we close it too? The last episode was the MySpace talk about Ja and all those songs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we got compliments for how many songs we knew. All those Ja Girl records. I'm like, well, for a long time, that's all there were.
Yeah, man, that was a whole block of rap.
Oh man, but yeah, man. You can follow me again. My Twitter is football centric. I'm trying to get away from that, but you can follow me on there, Jason Aponte 2103, and follow me on Instagram, Piffington Parker. But yeah, we'll be back next week, at least with the album review for The Infamous, and hopefully some new music, and who knows what crazy shit's about to happen, man. Like somebody needs to give Tekashi a phone, man, because this shit boring in quarantine, man. Well, let's get up out of here. So thank you guys for listening, and subscribe wherever you can. Please share and send on to your people and everything. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Later.